I decided that I wanted to make a video about co-parenting, and I haven't made a video in a while, and I was at my house and I'm just like having this, like, as you can tell, like lazy Saturday. My hair's crazy. Everybody left the house. I don't have Bentley, my puppy. I don't have Jackson. Luke took them to his parents. I was just cleaning and I just started thinking. So my parents divorced when I was 12 years old. So I am from a split family. I was the oldest child, and then I had my 3 younger siblings. I have the best upbringing from a divorced family. I'm not one of those, it was perfect, everything worked out great, mom got remarried, dad got remarried, blah, 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 everyone got along, we got to spend birthdays together. No. Like, some of the positives of coming from the divorced family was the 2 Christmases, you know, kind of like the separate birthdays. It was fun, and if we did go spend time with my dad, we would typically go to movies or go do fun things, where when my parents were together, that was like a really rare thing. With saying that, my parents fought all the time. They can't even be in the same room as each other, and it was like that for much of my life growing up. My mom even has to have him blocked, to where she paid like an extra $15 just so she doesn't even receive his voicemails or his texts or his calls. Enough about my past and my misery. I'm gonna bring you up to date with the present tense, present whatever. So there's 2 women, well, yeah, 2 women that I personally have in my life that I deal with that are Luke's exes. Not just necessarily his exes, but 2 people that he has had children with besides Jackson, and they are 2 separate women. So he has 3 women, 3 kids type. This is where it gets tricky. So with saying that, my son has never had to go around these women, because one he had a daughter with way before I ever even knew he existed. And then the other one was after the fact, but they were actually never together. So it was never like I had to let my son go for visitation or go over and see them. So I never really like had to have that experience to this day of my son having to leave to go visit his dad and have another like family scenario. I'm sure that there have been times in the past that he's seen other women or been around them. Luke really rarely had him. There's maybe like 2 or 3 times alone ever, and he typically ended up being with his parents. So I really don't think that Jackson's ever even been in that situation. I've never had to deal with that situation, but I have had to deal with these other 2 women one-on-one with me and them, just not with my child, if that makes sense. You need to be careful what you're saying about your children's mother or father, especially in front of them. But I say overall, I don't care. Like, even if they can't hear you, the fact that you're even vocalizing it and expressing it, like, yeah, it's okay to hate them. It's okay to not like them. But when you're constantly vocalizing that, your emotions and how you feel tend to come out more. And then kids, they were so dang smart. They can pick up on it. You don't even have to say anything, and they can just sense, you don't like my dad, this is bugging you, blah, 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 you know, whatever. You need to be very, very, very careful, because that your child is 50% you, 50% their other parent. So when you're saying like, oh my gosh, your dad is such a lazy ass, or whatever you're saying about that other person, they start to feel like they're kind of like their dad. So are you talking about them? Like, it's a hard thing, you know? And you know, both my parents have said really bad things about each other, and even if I do agree with what they are saying, it's still like I'm part of that person. Like, I didn't choose my dad, you chose my dad for me. I didn't choose my mom like you did. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're gonna sit and talk crap, like, take some accountability. You chose this you're the one that chose that person. Like, get out of here. And right now, there's like over 50% of the children that do come from split families. That's sad, it's unfortunate, but at the same time, it's becoming the norm. That's a normal thing, to come from a split family. That's crazy to me. But at the same time, we need to be making it something more positive and not such a negative thing. Luke, his first ex that he has the daughter with, we have always been able to get along so well. And we're able to talk, be there for each other, more on a friendship level too, like, because I'm with Luke. You know, a lot of our relationship has been despite the fact, like, even when I'm not with Luke, regardless. And then we had Bryn living with us for a while. The communication was still there. Like, we've always been really just chill with each other. I don't remember any instance where it's like bad. And we've always been able to just keep that communication open and talk about things and be there for each other, for the kids and for other things. And that's more revolving around Bryn, not so much Jackson. But then Bryn ended up going to live with her grandma, Luke's mom, and that's when the real, like, craziness happened. Like, that's where they are right now, is over at her house, and I'm not allowed there, and Jackson's like, I don't want to go there unless you're going, Mom, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm sorry, like, I would go if I could go. I can't. Like, what do you even say in that situation? She's been the one that's, like, trying to get as much money out of Luke as possible for Bryn, even though it's going to her. Things that she's doing should be, like, typical of, like, an ex, sadly to say. And it's his own mother, and it just blows me away. It just blows my mind. And his ex that he had a son with after Jackson. And what's crazy is Jackson was 10 or 11 months old. He wasn't even a year old when this girl got pregnant. And at the time, it could have been like 5 different guys' kid. I wasn't like, oh, let's go meet him and meet this whore that he cheated on me with. Like, no. It was very hard. It wasn't something that I just jumped up and went and did. It took me a long time to, first of all, get to the fact of, like, it could be. Then to realize the fact that he had been served paperwork that it was his. And I still don't know. He never did take a paternity test. They claim to have taken his DNA from, like, over 15 years ago, something like that. I don't know. I don't even know if it's accurate. But the child could or couldn't be. I could see similarities, but at the same time, it's really tricky. I don't know. But I finally got myself to the point, it was about 3 years ago, I actually reached out to her. And I was with Luke at the time, and I would have done this regardless of me and Luke's circumstance. Like, this is how I am with Molly. Like, me and Molly keep a relationship for the children and let them see each other and take them for sleepovers and whatever, whether Luke's here or not. That's how it's been because they're brother and sister, you know? It's not like they're brother and sister when me and him are together and then they all of a sudden they're not. Like, that's not how it works. So I reached out to this lady, and her son is like a year and a half-ish younger than Jackson, his supposed brother. And I reached out and was like, look, I really, like, want to make this work. Like, regardless of what happens with me and Luke, regardless of how you and Luke feel about each other, like, this is potentially Jackson and Bryn's sibling, and I feel like we need to meet up and, you know, whatever. And so then she offered to have the kids meet each other, and I told her, I'm like, that makes me very leery because I don't want to introduce the children and then have this whole situation just not turn out and then have them not be able to have a relationship like, oh, I met my brother once, but then now, you know, no. It needs to be a consistent thing, and I wanted to clarify that with her, and basically in person, but she lived about 2 hours away, so we ended up talking through it. She's like, no, I promise, like, no matter what, I'll always make sure that, you know, we keep whatever good between us and that they can have each other in their lives. Like, I know we live kind of far apart, but we could do, like, meet up halfway, whatever, birthday parties, all that. So I'm like, yeah, this is, like, actually, like, really cool. And, like, I didn't have any anger or resentment towards her. Like, I was over the whole thing, and I was, like, ready just to let the 3 of the siblings meet each other. As crazy as that sounds. So I ended up driving all the way down there. Luke didn't come. He had work that day and didn't take it off. And I think he's only ever even met this supposed son, like, once when he was, like, right, I don't know. So anyway, Jackson was, like, oh, heck, 4 or 5. This other kid was, like, 3, something like that. I don't know. So we go down, we went to some water park, and I thought it turned out really great. I really got along with her. The kids all got along. Bryn was super excited to meet, you know, her little brother, and so was Jackson. And I brought her a whole trunk of clothes, like all of Jackson's hand-me-downs, and just, like, super, super nice stuff. And I told her, like, we should, you know, do this, like, at least once or twice a month. Like, meet halfway, you come here, I go there, whatever works. But get the kids together. And just kind of keep, you know, them getting to know each other and things. And Jackson was so excited. And after that, she ended up writing Luke some crazy shit. Like, he pays child support, and she wanted, not only did she want child support for this child that he doesn't even see, like, anything, like, he just has never even gone to court over the whole ordeal. And he pays a lot in child support a month. Like, you guys would be blown away. It's crazy. And she wanted that, plus for Luke to pay all the daycare, plus to get all of Jackson's hand-me-down clothes. And Luke's like, no, like, I'm already, like, I haven't even thrown a fit over the child support he's been paying since this kid was born. He never did a paternity test. He has even reached out and tried to, like, talk to him on the phone, like, whatever, and she's been against it. And he's like, you know, I'm paying child support for a kid that, yeah, sometimes it's his fault that he hasn't seen him, but a lot of times it's her too. So it's like, you know, you're already getting the money, and I'm not even exercising my parental rights. Like, now you want me to pay all the daycare plus get all Jackson's hand-me-downs? I don't even mind giving all the hand-me-downs. It's the way that she went about asking. It's like, whoa, like, what? But even besides that, I, like, stayed out of that whole situation, didn't even get involved. I'm like, that's between them. Like, I just want to keep everything good for the kids. Since then, they kind of, like, dished it out, and then she just quit responding to me, and I'm like, hey, like, this and that, I really want to get the kids to meet up again, and invited, you know, her kids to Jackson's birthday party, no response. Kept trying. I tried for like a year, and I was like, you know what? This is ridiculous. She's like, she's reading my messages and not responding. She won't answer her phone. And I'm like, this is to the point where I look almost pathetic. Like, you know, it's obviously like, it needs to be water under the bridge, and I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have had them meet them the first time. I should have really made sure about the situation. And I felt really bad on my end that I did that. Now she's back in the picture trying to text and call, and she's trying to, like, get me to come to her daughter's birthday party, and hey, like, let's have a sleepover type thing. And it's just like, you know, I did that whole thing. I'm not really doing, like, an every couple years, like, let's get the kids to meet up thing. Like, it needs to be consistent or not. I'm not doing this in and out crap. Like, sorry for that rant. That was a long one, but that's my end of the co-parenting type of situation. When you're constantly fighting with the other parent, it's ultimately just hurting your child and hurting, like, how much involvement each of you guys are having in their life, and it's just not cool. Bottom line is, it's what's best for the kid, not what's best for you. That's it. It's not what's convenient for you. It's not what's easiest. It's not what makes you feel most comfortable. It's what's best for the kid. And a lot of times that's going to put you out of your comfort zone. That's going to put you over the edge. That's going to whatever. So be it. Like, that's pretty much it. Well, thanks for listening to me ramble for a good freaking 20 minutes. And, yeah, we're just getting ready to go back to school, do some school clothes shopping and stuff like that. So, maybe I'll record it, maybe I won't. We'll see. Definitely the first day of school, though. So, yeah, bye.